My name is Walt Banger Taylor. I'm a producer, director, and a writer.
And Walt, you've had your first film out. What's the film and what's the story?
Yes, my first film is called Gbomo Gbomo Express. Gbomo Gbomo is Yoruba for kidnap or kidnapping. So it's kind of Kidnap Express, but very exotic sounded Kidnap Express. The film is about a record label CEO. He does a huge sponsorship deal, goes out celebrating one night, runs into a lovely island socialite. They really hit it off. Then on the way back home, we're not sure what they're going to do, but on the way back home, they get kidnapped by three, have-nots, working class people. One's a chef by day, hustler by night, with his girlfriend, who they hope to get married. And then the third one is a character called Philo, who's sort of really the comic relief. He's the loose cannon, so to speak. He's the one that kind of gets things wrong when he should be right and forgets things, and that kind of thing. So.
And the film has been released in the cinema. When did it come out?
Yes, the film came out officially October the 2nd. We had an early release, October 1st, because of the Independence Day. So we were quite happy to make a little bit more money. But
and how well did it do at the box office?
I would say it did pretty well, generally. In certain, just based on the distribution network it works. In our home court, we did very well. I mean, for the first 2 weeks, we were the highest grossing film for the first 2 weeks. That's Nigerian, Americans, and we went up against a very stiff competition, straight out of Compton, The Martian. So our little film kicked butt in that respect. But numbers generally, I think, were pretty low, just because of, I think, certain things were said about like the economy, and there were just quite a lot of films coming out at that time as well. So
quite a lot of local films.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was by far the hardest month, I think, in years. I'd say like 4 or 5 years. I mean, people were quite surprised. I got a lot of tweets saying, hang about, you're coming out at the same time as this other local film, and it's never been done. So we kind of went up against a really good film as well. And
so what was that film?
It was called The First Lady. It's a comedy, so it's kind of, stock and trade of what people would go out and see. Ours was a bit more of a comedy thriller, slightly darker and slightly more risque, shall I say. So people weren't, when you say people aren't immediately sold by it, so it's a comedy, but it's comedy thriller with, like, what's the with bit, So it did quite, I mean, we went toe to toe with them. On their own patch, obviously, they kind of did better than us. It didn't help that our banners were being moved and that kind of stuff, but I'm not complaining. But
So what's next?
Next, well, I have a couple of film ideas. I have the sequel to this, the part 2, but I've been having a few battles with some of my friends who were in the first part. Without giving too much away, some of them don't really make it through, so they kind of don't want me to make another film without them. So I might have to shoot the next one, which would be working titled at the moment. It's Young African Pioneers. It's really about a deadbeat record producer from the UK who basically is in a backwater bar in Lagos, trying to drinking his life away, and all of a sudden he hears this musician come on stage, and he's like, wow, this guy's the most incredible, and he sees him and his ticket back to the mainstream. So that's one idea I'm working with. We're halfway through the second draft of the script, but that's kind of going to be a little bit more technical than Gbomo Gbomo, which was more of a guerrilla style, hands-on, do or die, Robert Rodriguez type venture. So this one, I'm basically going to need a little bit more time, a little bit more technically savvy with this one, I think. And I've kind of have some ideas of, crowd scenes and people doing the stage dive and the camera. So I don't think that's going to work with the run and gun technique, that kind of thing.